everyone, and welcome back to the XSP Green Monster channel. My name is Riley, and today I'm going to be doing another unboxing for you guys. So this is going to kind of be stuff that I'm trying to work on to fix my belt slip issues with the truck. If any of you guys are familiar with car audio, you know that once you start putting tons of alternators in, you run into a lot of issues with belt slip if you don't have the correct tension in your belt. And I'm starting to run into this issue if the belt is if it's not new, my belt slips basically. So I got a couple things I'm going to try to help resolve this issue, and I'm going to do an unboxing of everything I got right now. So I'll point the camera down at the table and we'll start doing the unboxing, and I'll kind of go through what I got and what my thought process is behind these things helping the belt slip. Also, if you enjoy the video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please leave any suggestions for videos you'd like to see in the comments below. Here are the three packages I received. I have a pretty good idea of what's in each one, so I'm going to start with small ones and we'll get into this big one. Here's the first one. And they're kind of all the same order. They shipped a little bit differently. One I had to order from somewhere else because it was extremely hard to find what I was looking for. But I think this is gonna work. And this is all pretty like experimental, like none of this is guaranteed to work by any means, but hopefully it will. So this first one is just this little pulley. And then open up this one. There we go. And then the big box. And that was just a belt, if you didn't see, which I'll kind of get into. So, got that shipped very strangely. This is just, I don't know why this is packaged like this, but I guess that's what happens when you order from Amazon and not the car company itself. That's another belt for the truck. Got a lot of miscellaneous packaging. Got a new Pack 80 and some more fun stuff. Let's see. Oh yeah. So this is actually not everything, but yeah, there's one more thing that should be here, but it'll all work out for now because it's basically along the lines of what you're seeing already. Get this all out. Actually came in a really nice box. I like those Pack 80 boxes. So here is more or less everything that I have ordered to try and help with my belt issues. This is not really related to that, but it is something with the system. So I'm going to change you guys back up so I can talk to you a little more, and I'll try and go through this stuff so that you guys know kind of what I'm thinking with this, and hopefully it can help if you're having similar issues. We got you guys back up. I'll start with kind of the first thing I unboxed, which is this tiny pulley. And this is the only one that I really struggled to find. And it is a lot wider than I need it, but I think it's still gonna do the job. This is really just kind of like proof of concept stuff that I'm trying to do. So here it is, this little pulley, and it's a 2-inch OD pulley, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on what exactly the specs were, but I believe it's a 2-inch OD pulley with a 3/8 inner diameter bearing. And my ideas with this is I have another pulley coming on the way. It's a 3.5 inch, and the pulleys I have currently on my triple alternator bracket are 2 3/4 inches, I believe. So I have these two pulleys kind of oriented like this, and then I have the tensioner down here moving up and down. So since I changed the geometry of the way the belt's running, that tensioner actually doesn't push on the belt as much. So if before the belt was kind of running like this and the tensioner was pushing out and one pulley was here and one pulley was here, it was pushing against that belt more than it is now, where it's kind of over here and the tensioner doesn't contact it till right here. I'm not sure if that helped much at all. I'm trying to explain, but my idea is I'm going to increase the pulley size closest to the tensioner, which is going to bring the belt further in towards the center of the engine, which means the tensioner is going to actually have more belt to push against. But to do that, it would contact another pulley that's to the left of it, because those pulleys are very close to try and keep a good belt wrap on the alternators. So I need a smaller pulley to replace one of the other pulleys with, so that they don't contact. And this bearing is very centered in this pulley. As you can see, it's kind of centered in there on both sides. So I'll need to use some washers of some kind or a spacer to actually get this to align properly, but I think that this will work. And this is a pretty nice pulley, so it should end up working. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my tensioner, which is what this bolt was to. Right there. So I'm going to try replacing my tensioner in the truck. I believe my tensioner is extremely old, like 21 years old, as old as the truck is. So I'm hoping that with a new tensioner, it could help. And I tried to get a tensioner with a larger pulley right here, so I can again kind of increase what it's pushing against. So I will have to uninstall mine and see if this fixes my problem. I tried to go with a slightly nicer tensioner, the one that was rated to be an aftermarket, not just an OEM replacement. So I'm hoping that helps a little bit. We'll have to see. I'll let you guys know if it's worth upgrading tensioner. I'm not sure if it will help in my case, because I think my tensioner is bottoming out either way. It's just reaching the end of its throw. So that's kind of the problem with it. And that's why my belt keeps squeaking, is because the tensioner just hits the end of its throw, and then it can't keep the belt tension once I rev up the engine to handle the alternator pull, or once the alternators start pulling really hard. I'll save the battery isolator because that's not directly related to the alternators, but so my truck takes a 136-inch belt with all the extra alternators, and I don't really want to pop this, which I'm a little worried about. So we'll have to see if this is going to work. It is a 40-60-130, 30-60. 40-60-136-0 is the belt size that mine takes. So I've got that in the Continental Elite Poly V belt with the quiet channel technology. I've seen a lot of people run this, kind of referred to as a gator belt. And it's hard to see, but you can see on the photo there how the teeth, it has like etchings in the actual ribs, which a lot of people I've seen run big car audio systems say that this belt works very well, so I'm going to give it a try and see how this belt does. This is a belt that's currently in the Suburban as the AC Delco Professional KO61360 HD, or the greenback. And this is one I was running. The green wore off so fast, I'm a little worried that I really damaged the belt quickly with slipping or something. So I've got this one, which I don't want to throw back in there, but it has held up really well. Better than most of the belts I run. And I know this is the right size because they vary a little bit with size, and I don't know the exact size of this one, so I'm not sure if this one's actually going to work as well. But I know that this one is almost exactly 136 inches, which is what I need, or it's like 136 and a half. I know if I run 136 and 3/4 inch belt, it squeaks very bad. I know if it's 137 inch belt, it squeaks really bad. And the cheaper ones from like Napa and stuff are 6136 O's are actually closer to 137 inches than they are 136 inches, which makes a huge difference in how much my belt squeaks when I'm under hard load with the audio system. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the right size. I tried to do my research on it, but I was struggling to find Continental's size sheets. So I hope this works, and if this doesn't end up working, hopefully a new tensioner with the new pulleys might be able to save it, because I have heard that these belts work really well in this application. So I will have to see. I know that this is supposed to have really, really little stretch too. So I'll let you guys know on that one. I know that these have very little stretch, and it's lasted a long time in my car. It actually works extremely well. I'm not sure how much it's showing. I know that all the green is no longer on it, as you probably saw when I showed you my engine bay. I'll link that right here. You can watch that one. You can see that my belt is no longer green in the vehicle, and I have photos of when it was basically brand new and green. But still, good belts. These are also highly recommended. This is what's actually recommended by the person who makes my alternator bracket, which is why I just tried this ones, and it definitely works better than the stock belts or the cheap Napa belts, because those cheap ones will go for me in like, I'd say 2 months. If I'm playing the truck a lot, it will stretch, and on hot days it will just, I won't be able to really play the system because it'll just start slipping and my voltage will just die. It'll go down into the 10s and 11s on my voltage. So hopefully one of these belts will start working, or the pulleys will fix it, or the new tensioner will fix it, but something hopefully will solve this problem a little bit, because right now I'm running into a lot of little issues with this. And then the last one is the PAC 80, which, if you don't know what PAC 80 is actually sold as a battery isolator. There you go. So it's by a company PAC. They're battery isolators. This is the 80 amp version. I have seen them all the way up to 500 amp versions. And it's basically one positive here on this relay, and then a turn on and a ground down there on the bottom. See if it'll focus. There it goes. So they're extremely easy to wire. I've run one in my car for quite a long time now. I think it's just getting old. I'm starting to have some problems with my alternators kind of cutting in and out, and the voltage is extremely unstable. And I reached out to Mike Singer about this, and he said it's probably the PAC 80. They go out once in a while. So I'm gonna start with this. I know that my terminals are pretty corroded on the current one I have. Like I said, it was in the engine bay for a good 2 years, so it built up a lot of rust and corrosion and got a little beat up in there. Now it's inside the vehicle, so I'm not as worried about it corroding as quickly. So hopefully this will fix it. I haven't really shown you guys that, but I do have that issue where my voltage just jumps back and forth by about 8 volts, and it causes you can hear it in the engine. You can hear the engine kind of like pull down and then go back up, and then pull down and then go back up, and then pull down and go back up while you're driving. So I'm hoping that this will solve that. That's just a bad connection somewhere in the current one, or it's just rusted or whatever. I know that it takes a lot of abuse. Yeah, so that's everything I got. Hopefully this will be a good install video for everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching me unbox and a little bit of my explanation of belt noise, or belt squeak, I can kind of go into belt slip and these issues with car audio systems a little bit deeper. Maybe I'll make car audio tips and tricks for not getting started, but for kind of people who are in it a little bit more but haven't really hit, I don't know. I'll figure out what I want to do. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and leave any comments for suggestions for videos down in the comments below. If you've run into the belt squeak issue, the belt slip issue before, let me know if you found any way besides just getting tighter and tighter belts and messing around with pulleys and tensioners. This is basically what I've seen on every car audio thing, but someone else might have a really good idea on how to do this that I'm just missing. So if you do, just leave it down below in the comments and I'll be sure to reply to that. I would really appreciate it if you do have some way of doing this that I'm just not seeing. And I'll see you guys in the next video.